Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are doing superbly great. Now, let's continue with our discussion on contract costing. Now we are nearing the end of this chapter, contract costing, one of the most important chapters of cost accounting. So, what we have studied about, we have already studied about the contract account, the various elements, and we have done some practical part also, right? The topic that we are going to discuss in this lecture is the projects which are nearing the completion, estimated profits, right? This is our topic for this lecture, right? So before we start, I request everyone to share these lectures with the maximum people, right? And if you like it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, obviously. Or in the last lecture, I told you what we are planning for. We are planning that we will not continue with this series if we do not see the results, right? Results in terms of the likes that we get on the videos, right? The views, the subscribers, and that's it. If we are not getting, if we have to get only 40-50 views, right, then there is no fun of uploading, sir. Then there is no fun of investing so much of time on this, isn't it? So now it depends upon you people whether you want to enjoy these lectures free of cost or whether you pay something for that. That's totally up to you, right? And for the handbooks, all those who are interested in having the handbooks, who want to take that extra benefit of handbooks, they can buy it from our website, that is www.kstteaching.org, right? Okay, so about the contract costing, the topic that we are going to discuss in this lecture is about the projects. I will not write projects, I will say contracts nearing completion. Contracts nearing completion. The first thing that, sir, how do you define this, that the contracts are nearing the completion? Is there any parameter for that? The only parameter that we have for that is that the contract is greater than equal to 90% complete. It is not 100% complete, but it is more than 90% complete. When the contract is more than 90% complete, we say that this contract is nearing the completion. Now, remember that part where we discussed about the notional profit, the amount to be transferred to P&L and WIP reserve, the rules there. I've shown you. All those who are having the books, they can see it in the books page. I think it was 11.5. There we discussed about that when the contract is greater than equal to 90% complete but less than 100% complete. It is not 100% complete. If it is 100% complete, we will say that the contract is already complete, sir. Right? So it is not 100% complete, but this project is nearing its completion. For example, say the project started on 1st of April 21. It is a 2-year project, right? This is the first year, this is the second year. That is 31st of March 22 and 31st of March 23. Now, if we say that the contract is nearing the completion, that means we say that we are standing here, sir. We are standing here. At this point, the project is, say, 92% complete. Right? That means up till this point, we have incurred the expenditure. Right? At this point, we know that what is our actual expenditure. Now the project is nearing the completion. It is almost 92% complete. At this point, we can estimate that whether we are going to earn the profits from this contract or not. Right? Now we can precisely, near to precisely, right? I cannot say that 100% precisely, but quite near to precision, you can calculate now here what we call them as estimated profits. We call them as estimated profits. Right? So at this 92%, at this point, you can identify that what will be my profits from this contract. You can estimate those profits with quite a precision. right? It might not be 100% accurate, but near to 100% accuracy, because the most of expenditure we have incurred, right? So now we can estimate our profits. Sir, how do we estimate this profits? How do we estimate the profit, sir? If we talk about the whole contract, what is my profits for the contract will be? My profit will be, sir, contract price, whatever is the contract price I will be receiving, right, minus the total expenditure, on this contract. Any doubts up till this point, right? I say that my contract is 92% complete. That means I am nearing the completion. At this 92% completion, I can estimate my profits, that with whatever is the profits I will be earning from this contract, whether I will be earning profits or not, right? I can estimate with a near precision, because the majority of the expenditure has been done on it. The contract is almost complete. Just 8% work is done. Just the finishing work is left, right? So the major expenditure has been done by this point. So if you know the total contract price, if you know the expenditure, approximate expenditure, why approximate? By this point we know the actual, but for this part we can only estimate the expenditure. For the remaining 8% we can only estimate the expenditure, right? So if I want to calculate estimated profits, now come to the term estimated profits, right? Estimated profits, this estimated profit is for the whole contract, that when my contract will be complete, whether I will be earning the profits or not. Now what is this estimated profit? Estimated profit means the contract price. You know the contract price, sir, right? Minus the total expenditure. Any doubts? Sir, this total expenditure will consist of two parts here. If we talk about total expenditure, it will consist of two parts. One is the actual expenditure incurred. Actual expenditure incurred till date, right? And the second part is estimated further expenditure. Estimated further expenditure. Sir, what does it mean? Listen to it very carefully now. What I am doing is, by this point, sir, from here my contract started on 1st of April. By here till this point, I know my actual expenditure. After this point, whatever is this part is my what? This is my, okay, I'll remove this actual expenditure from here. The second part is what? The second part is my estimated expenditure, because the work is still going on this 8% part. So what is actual? From 1/4/21 till this part, till 92% completion, I know what I have done the expenditure, right? After this point, whatever is my estimated expenditure, this actual plus estimated is my total expenditure on the contract, right? Actual plus estimated is my total expenditure on the contract. And if I want to calculate the estimated profit for the whole contract, I will say the contract price minus the total expenditure. Total expenditure means the sum total of actual expenditure incurred plus the estimated further expenditure. Clear? Right? So this is how you have to calculate the estimated profits. Now what is the role of this estimated profit, sir? How to calculate this estimated profit? See, for the calculation of this estimated profit, what we do is we prepare the memorandum contract account. Memorandum contract account. Right? Sir, what is the role of this memorandum contract account? Sir, here we will take all the expenditure, right? All the expenditure means actual plus expected, estimated or expected further expenditure. On this side, we'll take the whole contract price, right? We'll take the contract price, and from here what we will get is estimated profits. Right, so for the calculation of estimated profits, what you will do is you will prepare a memorandum contract account. In the memorandum contract account, you will take the whole of contract price. You will take it as it is similar to a contract account only, right? The items will be taken, the rules will be applicable as in the contract account, no difference. Right, here you will take the expenditure, but in this case what you will take is the actual plus estimated further expenditure, only then you will get as the estimated profits. Right, so this is how you have to calculate the estimated profit. Now what is the further role of estimated profit, sir? Sir, the further role of estimated profits is to identify that how much of notional profit should be transferred to P&L. Right, what is the further role of, if we talk about estimated profits, the role of estimated profits is to identify that how much of notional profit should be transferred to profit and loss account and how much should be transferred to WIP reserve. For this part we have already read the rules. This now which rule will be applicable? The last rule will be applicable. See the books, page 11.5. The last rule will be applicable, that if the contract is more than 90% complete. Now this is for all the students, for CA Inter students also, right? Listen to it very carefully with open ears. Now what is the rule? The rule is very, very simple, sir. The rule says estimated profits multiplied by cash received divided by contract price. Right, in the other rules what we have been taking is cash received by WIP, work certified, isn't it? But as I told you that we will now, the contract is nearing the completion, so almost the whole of the contract is certified. So what we take is, instead of certified we take contract price, and we can book profits only to the extent we have received the cash. That is why we take only the proportionate profits. We book the proportionate profits based on the actual cash that we have received. Right, for the cash that we have not received, we are not to book the profits in profit and loss account. The remaining profits will remain in WIP reserve. Clear? So the important thing that you people need to understand is that what are the estimated profits, what is the role of the estimated profits. This is what my motive was to teach you people in this lecture. Right, I hope you have understood what are the estimated profits, why we are calculating estimated profit, so that because we are nearing the completion now, we are able to get to know that whether we'll be actually earning profits or not. Right, so that is the main motive of it, that because we are nearing the completion of this contract, we want to know that whether we are earning profits or not. Clear? For that, what we do is we calculate estimated profits, that is contract price minus total expenditure. Total expenditure will contain two parts. One is the actual expenditure that you have already incurred, plus the estimated expenditure for the next period. Clear? Right, sir? So this is all about the estimated profits. You can read, there are, in the book there will be number of formulas that will be given for the estimated profits. I think 5-6 formulas are given for estimated profit, but the most used one is this one only, right? So rest of the formulas you can just go through from the books. I think it should be page 11.78 somewhere, right? From our handbooks, for KSJ handbooks, page 11.7 or 8 somewhere, it will be given the estimated profits. So whatever are the rest of the formulas, they are, the meaning, the basic meaning remains the same. You just have to go through those formulas, nothing much, right? You don't have to do much about it. Just go through those. You have to remember this one, right? Not remember, you have understood. It will all, it is, already remembered now. You don't have to remember this formula. You don't have to cram this formula, right? Just think logically that these are the estimated profits. Now, out of these profits, what should be taken to the profit and loss? How much should be booked in the profit and loss? It will depend upon the cash received part. And here we have to take the contract price instead of work certified, because the project is now nearing the completion. That means more than 90% has been certified. That means we can take the contract price now, right? And we can book the profits only to the tune of cash received. Rest of the part we have not received yet, right? And for the part which we have not received, how can we book the profits in the books? No sir, we can't do that. Clear sir? So this is about the estimated profits. Now let's come to the practical question on estimated profits. Let's see. So we have question number 5 in the YouTube questions PDF that is available on a mobile app, right? And guys, all those who are buying the books, please do one thing. After you buy the book, write an email to us at ksjteaching@gmail.com and you can ask for this PDF, right? You don't have to buy it separately from the mobile app. All those who are buying the study material, our study material, right? So you can ask for this YouTube questions. You can write an email to us and we will provide you the PDF of that, right? Rest of the people who are not buying the handbooks, right? You can buy these YouTube questions from the mobile app. Okay. Now let's read question number 5. Rex Limited commenced a contract on 1st of July 1998. Always important, the starting date and the completion date and the date of closure of books, always important. The contract price was 5 lakh rupees, no doubt, but the Rex India Limited accepted the same for 4,50,000. Such a generous person. Great. It was decided to estimate the total profit and take to the credit of profit and loss account that proportion of estimated profits on the cash basis. That means whatever you are receiving the cash, which the work completed both to the total contract price. The actual expenditure till 31st of December 1998 and the estimated expenditure in 1999 are given below. Now, the first thing that should come to your mind is the start of the project. What is the start date of the project? Start date is 1st of July 98, right? And the actual expenditure date is given as 31st of December 98. That means, what does it mean? Can you tell me what does it mean, sir? It means that this company is closing the books on 31st of December 1998. We are closing the books on this particular date. Now, tell me the number of months for which the contract has run. 6 months? Any doubt? The further expenditure estimates are given. Right, estimates are given for 1999. There is no doubt in that. Actual is till 31st of December when we are closing the books. Material is given, labor is given, plant purchased at original cost. Now this is a whole story. Plant. This is a very interesting story of plant. 40,000 rupees. Miscellaneous expenses 20,000 and 35,500. Plant returned to store at original cost on 31st of December 1998, 10,000 rupees. Again the plant is returned, actually this should be here, 31st of December 98, right? And another plant originally costing 25,000. What is the original cost of plant? 40,000. Out of this 40,000, 10,000 is returned on 31st of December 98 and 25,000 worth is returned on 30th of September 99. Material at site is given, work certified, uncertified, cash received is given. The plant is subject to annual depreciation at 20% of the original cost. Great. The contract is likely to be completed on 30th of September. He says the contract is to be completed on 30th of September. You are required to prepare the contract account for the year ended 31st of December 98. The working should clearly give. It is the policy of the company to charge depreciation on the time basis. Now, you might ask me one thing, that sir, the project has run for 6 months and it has to further run for 9 months. Then how it is 90% complete? Agree. This might not be 90% complete, right? But the question clearly says that you have to calculate this profit and loss figure on the basis of estimated profit on cash basis. Then how can you ignore this thing? You cannot. Can you ignore this thing? You cannot, sir. Right? When the question is specifically asking you to do that, then how can you ignore it, sir? Right? Okay. So what you have to do is, one is you have to prepare the simple contract account on 31st of December 98. Nothing to worry about it. You can prepare it. Forget about the estimates. Just prepare the contract account for 31st of December 98 and calculate the notional profit. Pause the video right now and do it on your own. Pause the video. Do not continue with the video. Pause the video right now and continue and try to do it on your own. After that, continue with the video. Right? Okay. So I hope you, all of you must have paused it and tried on your own. Now let's see. Now I'll show you how to prepare the contract account. You must have been able to do the maximum part. Only and only problem that you might have faced is in the plant. Right? What I'm saying is, you might have faced. I'm not sure whether you faced it or not. You might have faced it. Right? Listen to the story of a plant now. I'll just explain you the story of plant first. Then we will move on to the part. Question number 5. Plant. What is the original value of the plant? 40,000. Right? Purchased on 1st of July 98. Any doubts in this thing? No. Right? Now, there are basically 3 transactions related to the plant. Right? First transaction is on 31st of December 98. Right? Now, this is 1798 and this is 31st of December 98. We purchased a plant here costing 40,000 rupees. Right? Here, what we have done is, we have returned the plant to store. Right? Returned the plant to store whose original cost was 10,000 rupees. Right? So what is plant at site? On this date, what is the plant at site? Original cost 30,000. Out of 40,000, I'm not talking about depreciation right now. What I am talking about is the original value. Sir, out of 40,000, 10,000 you have returned to the store and what is left at site is 30,000. Right? Agreeable or not? Agreed, sir? Now, just tell me one thing. This 10,000 and this 30,000, have you used it for this period? This period, that is 6 months. For this 6 months, you have utilized this 10,000 also and you have utilized this 30,000 also. That means you will be charging the depreciation on both these plants, right, for 6 months minus the rate of depreciation is 20%. For 6 months, it will be 10%, right? So I can write as minus 10% minus 10%. So what is the value that I am returning to the store? My value here will be 9,000 and my value which will be lying at site is 27,000. So just check whether you have prepared in the contract account what you have written, plant at site and plant return to store. What is the value that you have taken? Have you taken this value? Very simple thing, sir. On 1st of July, I purchased a plant worth 40,000. I used this plant for 6 months. So that means I will be charging the depreciation. What is the total depreciation? If you think about it, what is the total depreciation? 4,000. Right? What is the depreciation I have charged here? Sir, 1,000 in this part, 1,000 plus 3,000. 3,000 is here. So total 4,000 depreciation that should have been charged, I have charged it. I've split it into two parts. One is for the returned, the other one is plant at site. Clear? So this is the first transaction related to this, that the plant is returned 10,000, plant at site 30,000 minus the depreciation. Sir, the rate is given as 20%. Guys, we have to calculate it for 6 months. So I have half the rate, 10%. Simple as that. Right? Now let's see the solution. Here it is. Material is given to you, no problem, sir. Labor is given to you, no problem, sir. Plant at original cost, no problem, sir. Miscellaneous expenses, no problem, sir. Material at site given, no problem, sir. WIP given, no problem, sir. The problem is here only. Plant at site 20,000. How? 30,000, right? Minus 10% depreciation. 9,000 how? 10,000 worth of plant has been returned minus 10% depreciation. Any doubts in this thing? Right? Now, see the question very carefully. He says about the plant that whenever the plant has been returned, this value is the original cost value, not the depreciated value. Clear? This is the original value and not the depreciated value. Any doubts in this thing? So what you have done is you have calculated the notional profit 58,500. Now what you people have to tell me? You have to tell me in the comment section whether you were able to correctly calculate it or not. Right? Let's make it a bit interactive. Just tell me in the comment section that, sir, we were able to accurately calculate the notional profit. Right? Now the next part is the calculation of estimated profits. Now you have the estimates, so you have to calculate the estimated profit. Based on that estimated profit, you can identify that how much of this notional profit is to be taken to profit and loss account and how much to be taken to WIP reserve, right? So what you have to do is estimated profits. For estimated profits, I told you what you will prepare is memorandum contract account, right, in which you will be taking the total expenditure, contract price and the estimated profits. Clear? So here is the memorandum contract account. Sir, two materials 75,000 plus 1,30,000, 75,000 plus the estimates for the next year 1,30,000. Labor 55,000 plus 60,000, 55,000 plus 60,000. Any doubts in this thing? Right, I'll rub it here once. Any doubts up till this point? Then we have, plant will talk about 40,000. It is 40,000 only, no additional. A miscellaneous expenditure is given, taken, sir. Here you will take the total contract price, that is the contractee. Material at site, nothing here, right? Now, listen to it about the plant now. There is a plant returned on 31st of 12. We have written it as 9,000, right? There is another transaction now related to the plant. Listen to it very carefully. Right? Now I'll present it in a different way. Now I'll say there are three transactions that I will write. First is returned to store, returned on 31st of December 98. Then we have another return, returned on 30th of September 99. Right? This is now plant at site on 30th of September 99. Listen to it very carefully. Now this value of plant, total value is 40,000. Right? What is the value that you have returned? What is the value that you have returned on here? Sir, 10,000 original value, 25,000, right? What is left here? 5,000. Any doubts? This date is 1st of July 98. Clear up till this point? Original value is clear. Now, when you returned the plant on 31st of December, you charged the depreciation, right, for 6 months, 1000 rupees, you charge the depreciation, right, 10,000 multiplied by 20% multiplied by 6 months. Any doubts? If anybody is having any doubt in this thing, right? So my value of plant that I have returned on this date is 9,000 rupees. Any doubts? Right? Here it is written 9,000 rupees. Absolutely clear? Plant returned. Sir, we have taken it in the contract account also. Correct, you have taken it in the contract account, but when you are preparing the memorandum contract account, you have to prepare it for the whole contract, right from the starting till the very end. So you have to take everything in that. Clear? Now, come to the second transaction. Sir, the second plant is returned on 30th of September 99. That means this plant has been used from 1st of July 98 to 30th of September 99. Can you tell me how many months are there? Can you tell me how many months, for how many months this plant has been utilized, which has returned on 30th of September 99? Sir, this has been utilized for 15 months. That means the depreciation on this 25,000 will be for how many months? For 15 months. Right? So how you will calculate the depreciation? Here the depreciation value will be 6,250. Sir, how this value has been calculated? Sir, 25,000 multiplied by 20%. This is for 1 year, that is 12 months. I want to calculate it for 15 months. So I have taken it like this. So what is the value? What is the value, depreciated value that you have returned? That is 18,750. 18,750 plant returned on, sorry, this is the date wrongly written, it is 99. Okay, not 88, sir. 99. Any doubts in this thing? See, the plant discussion is the only part in this question. Rest of the question is very simple. Clear? Now the third part is, out of 40,000, 10,000 is returned, 25,000 is returned. Total 35,000 has been returned to store, but 5,000 is still lying on the site. Right? Now this 5,000, sir, again on this 5,000 you will charge depreciation. This has been used from 1st of July 98 to 30th of September 99. That is for again 15 months. That means the depreciation again you will charge for how many months? 15 months. This comes to 1250. How this has been calculated, sir? 5,000 multiplied by 20% depreciation multiplied by 15 by 12. Right? So the value, the depreciated value of the plant on this date is 3,750. This is the value that we have taken on 30th of September. This is plant at site. There is no material at site. All the material has been used, but the plant worth 3,750 is still lying on the site. Some of the plant we have returned to the store and some is still lying on the site, right? 3,750 worth. Right? So this working note, this working part of the plant is very, very important. Right? These transactions are very, very important related to the plant returned on 31st of December, then returned on 30th of September next year, then the plant at site. Any doubts in this thing? You can make this working note in your notebooks. Right, sir? So moving on, what we have got is estimated profits now 66,000. Based on this estimated profits, I will calculate that what amount of notional profit should be taken to profit and loss account, right? So how I will calculate this? I will calculate as estimated profits multiplied by cash received, because the question has also specified that you have to take the cash basis, cash received divided by contract price. Right? What is my estimated profit? What is my estimated profit, sir? Estimated profit is 66,000. What is my cash received? Cash received is given in the question as 1,80,000, right? So 1,80,000 divided by contract price, that is 4,50,000. Be careful here. Do not take the contract price for 5 lakh rupees, because it is given in the question that they have accepted the price of 4,50,000. So the final contract price is not 5 lakh, it is 4,50,000. Right, accordingly you have to take, now this figure will come to 26,400. This will be taken to profit and loss account, right? So out of this 58,500 we have taken 26,400 to P&L and the remaining to WIP reserve, that is 32,100. Clear? So this is my contract account and this is my memorandum contract account. This is for the whole contract, right? Because we are calculating the estimated profits, and estimated profits are calculated for the whole contract, sir. So with this, the topic of estimated profits is complete, right? We have done the question also, we have done the practical part also, and we have done the conceptual part also. So it is all done. Now we are left with just one topic of contract costing, that is escalation claims, right, which we are going to discuss in the next lecture, right? We have two questions on escalation clause. Both the questions are important. This question number 7 was recently asked in the examination. So you can, sir, some people might be questioning a lot that, sir, you are not doing questions and this and that. But remember one thing, in the past few years, since the time I have been teaching, some of the questions have been directly asked from these YouTube lectures only, right? And the students have been scoring 70 plus 80 plus from these lectures only. There was a time when I was having these lectures only, there was no handbooks being provided. All those who are getting the handbooks, they are getting 80 plus easily, they are getting the additional benefit. But all those who are studying from these YouTube lectures, they are getting 50, 60s easily in costing. Even the toughest papers that have come in the recent past, the students have been able to clear. Why? Because of the conceptual clarity. That is the main thing. Right, so we are just left with one topic now, that is the escalation claim, and we'll see 1 or 2 lectures, right? In the next lecture I will be explaining the concept and we'll be doing question number 6, and one last lecture we might spend on question number 7, because that is a very important question from examination point of view, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep sharing. Thank you so much.